Greetings. On November 2nd, 2024, I published a video that shared my watchmaker education expenses. On that date, I had been at it for 2 months and had spent $3,536. Since then, I've completed the Watch 101 class at the Norwest School of Horology. I'll complete Watch 102 in 2 or 3 weeks, and I've already registered but not paid for yet Watch 103. So this is an update of what I've spent since then. The first video covered a period of 2 months, and this video covers the next 3 months, which are also the last 3 months. I never shop for the absolute lowest price. I always balance delivery, timeliness, total cost, and the trustworthiness of the seller. All prices that I give you include tax and shipping. If you're considering learning watchmaking, your expenses won't be the same as mine. But I bet your total spend will be plus or minus 30% of mine. Take what I'm going to share with a grain of salt, but use it as a source of preparation. Watchmaking needs a lot more than just a loupe and tweezers. I bought from these vendors. I no longer use Amazon because of Jeff Bezos. You can find prices elsewhere that are equivalent or close to Amazon's prices. I think what you lose by not using Amazon is the convenience of how their site works more than anything else. Everything you buy has the exact same interface, and frankly, their site works really well, and that's powerful and that has value. But it's fine by me to walk away from that. After 8 purchases, I no longer use AliExpress. They're untrustworthy and many of their sellers are scams. I lost money in a scam that was at least what I had saved in the 7 other successful purchases. So basically, I encountered a 1-to-8 scam ratio on AliExpress, and that's terrible. Here's what I've bought since November 2nd. My Norwest School of Horology registration fee for Watch 102 was $350. I bought 2 tickets for an NAWCC chapter holiday party for $70, membership dues for the local chapter of the WWCA, $20. I bought a notebook for class and a copy of the Watch Repairer's Manual and Illustrated Manual of American Watch Movements and the Practical Guide to Modern Oiling and The Rise and Decline of England's Watchmaking Industry, and of course, Watchmaking in hardcover. I had taken out of the library, but I wanted my own copy. I bought Novagrade's Double Gripper Smartphone Microscope adapter. It's the best smartphone adapter available. If you're thinking of getting an adapter for your microscope, look for and watch my earlier video that I made about this product. It's a tank. A new 144 LED ring light because the one I bought on eBay died. I learned a lesson there. I bought a stage micrometer calibration slide and a 10x 30mm eyepiece with reticle. I bought a Weishi 1900 time grapher. It was my very last AliExpress transaction forever. I had to buy a 23mm eyepiece for the smartphone camera adapter. Again, take a look at my video about the camera adapter for why that is. 2 wall shelves. I have photography gear on half of the additional space right now, but I'm assigning this to my watchmaker education because it'll eventually hold just watchmaker material. Of note, if you're thinking about getting into this, in September, my workspace was just 1/2 of my stand-up desk. Since then, it's expanded to use all of my stand-up desk, and then to all of the desk and a 5-foot utility table that I use sort of as a return on the desk, to the desk and the utility table and 2 wall shelves. There's a lot of stuff you're going to be buying. From a local hardware store, I bought a hacksaw. This was a bad purchase because it turned out to not be the kind of hacksaw I really needed. But hey, now I own a general purpose hacksaw, which, as a homeowner, that'll come in handy sometime. I bought 12 No. 2 jeweler's hacksaw blades, which I lost because I accidentally threw them out. And so then I bought another set of 12 No. 2 jeweler's hacksaw blades. Yeah, they got thrown out because I wasn't watching what I was doing and I was thinking about multiple things at one time, which has been a problem with my learning watchmaking. I have to learn to focus more. Alas. A 10x Bausch & Lomb loupe. It hasn't been as useful as I thought it would be, but it may yet come in handy. Dumont double knot tweezers and shellac flakes and an alcohol lamp. Dumont number 4 tweezers. Dumont number 5 tweezers, which were advertised as being vintage. That's marketing speak for used. 2 Dumont number 7 tweezers and 4 tweezer caps that I needed because I had misplaced a couple of them and I definitely want to protect the points on these tweezers. I overpaid for one of the tweezers because I didn't notice the shipping charges were higher than normal. 5 Bergeon 6938 dial protecting sheets. Yeah, I've been using a Ziploc baggie like everyone else, but you know what? These look cool. A Bergeon Presto 3637 pinion remover tool. 3 vintage K&D and Vigor bench key tools. In hindsight, these were a premature purchase. I haven't needed to use them yet, but I am confident they will come in handy someday. A Bergeon 6016 super thin prongs for dial hand removal. And this tool is flippin' great. I could even kill someone with it. A pair of Bergeon 5430 hairspring collet removers. From Goodwill, I bought a few glass jars to use for parts cleaning to hold, cleaning and rinsing solutions. L&R cleaner and L&R rinse fluids, along with 6 ultrasonic baskets. A Samson food dehydrator for drying parts. And this is an interesting thing. When you are cleaning watch parts, you've got 3 choices to dry them off. You either manually dry them off by patting them dry with a lint-free cloth. Watch tissue paper is something that most people use. Kim wipes might be sufficiently lint-free in a pinch, but I'm not sure of that. So that's choice number 1. And you pat them and you blow on them and you wave your hand until they get dry. Choice number 2 is you use a hairdryer. And it's left as an exercise for the listener to think about the danger involved in drying off small watch parts with a hairdryer. Choice number 3 is a food dehydrator. You put them in, close the door, let them sit, they get dry. 2 silicone grease products. A set of small vialed repackaged lubricants. A Bergeon 7718 1A automatic oiler. I bought my first one of this oiler without noticing that it didn't contain all of its parts. The seller did say that in one sentence buried in the full description, and I missed it. Another lesson learned. Anyway, this one comes with all the parts. An ST2130 automatic wind movement. I was going to disassemble it. I haven't gotten around to it yet, so this was a premature purchase, but I will get around to doing it because that'll be the next step in my learning about movements. 2 Waltham 18S mainsprings, alloy mainsprings. I ruined the first one, but number 2 lives on in my grandfather's pocket watch, and there's an earlier video about my epic journey with the mainspring. For a class project, a watch case and dial bought on eBay. The movement will be an ST36. A Gruen man's wristwatch from the 1960s for another class project. I talked about this in an earlier video. I'm looking forward to this as I'm going to have to understand how it's put together and figure out the lubrication without the benefit of class handouts or a tech sheet. 4, count them, 4 ST36 movements because I need to learn to be more gentle and work more slowly, especially around hairsprings. A Waltham 1883 movement for parts because I lost a spring in my grandfather's pocket watch and there was no other way to get a replacement except for buying a donor movement. A .50 millimeter long roller jewel for the Waltham pocket watch. I bought 2 each lower and upper Inca block cap jewels for the ETA 6497 and a nut and screw grabber that looked really interesting to me and it's built really well and I thought it would be useful, but it might not be useful. I'll have to see. A roller jewel gauge, which I've already used and I'm very glad I bought it. A vintage duplex roller remover. I found an image, in fact, of the original instruction sheet that came with it in an online ad. And so I screenshot it, I printed it out, and I laminated it, and it's very neat. An ETAChron hairspring stud extractor and an ETAChron regulating screwdriver. They make regulating much easier than using tweezers. I'm very glad I bought these. A Bergeon 3106 hairspring and balance holder, which was replaced by the 3110, but that's okay. I think the design is the same, but the metal has a nicer finishing. And a new extra fine oiler, because I filed down my existing extra fine oiler one too many times when I was trying to get it to disperse lubricant more evenly and more easily. So I'll use that one as a hairspring needle, and I won't damage the new one. A hairspring tack and stand. This one is really nice. It's got multiple platforms, and I'm glad I bought it. A Dremel 20-50-30 kit for eventually polishing the interior of the Waltham mainspring barrel, and a keyless chuck. And a pin mandrel to hold 6 fine, green pin polishers. I'll use these items to remove scratches from and polish the inside of the Waltham mainspring barrel when I next clean it. A Bergeon 382M right-hand winder handle and a 14mm right-hand barrel. These aren't here yet, but they're in transit. I would have loved to buy a complete Bergeon winder kit, even used, but they're too expensive. I was advised to instead buy the handles and barrels as I actually need them, because you might never use some of the barrels contained in the full kit. A white butcher's apron. Now, I got this idea from an online post, I think in the NAWCC forums. The idea is the top of the apron goes around your neck like normal, and then you clamp the bottom edge to the bench where you're working using any kind of clamps. So they catch flying parts, and it's white, so it makes it easy to see the parts after they've landed on the apron. I'll see how well this works. It's a cheap experiment in any case. A cheap demagnetizer that does the job, and a compass that was overkill. I could have bought a cheaper compass. A cheap soldering iron that, again, does the job. 2 covered parch trays. These are pricey, but they're very nice. Round nose pliers for mainspring arbor work. A bench block. I really like the particular one that I bought. 4 ounces of Boeshield T9 for keeping the bench block in good shape. Boeshield is magical stuff. My grand total spend since November 2nd, 2024, $3,747. When I add that to the November 2 number, the grand total to date becomes $7,283. Now, I take some comfort that the rate of my education spending seems to be decreasing. I'll check in with you again in 3 or 4 months. That's all I have for you today. Till next time, take care.